5 years too late, but recent developments on the market necessitate that this video be made. And now that the neighbors have moved out, I can finally play with the big toys. It was 2015 at Just Music in Hamburg when I chanced across this delightful plaything. And let's face it, an affordably priced offset is what many of us in the baritone community have been waiting for. And this, in spite of, or perhaps precisely because of, the fact that it's not a real Jazzmaster at all, lacking the tremolo of trepidation, the whammy of woe that bedevils many a wielder of this iconic offset when they strive in vain to properly adjust that unfortunate floating bridge. Needless to say, I had to take it home with me, and at the paltry price of €350, it was quite the easy item for an impulsive acquisition. But then, the model was discontinued in 2019 after a mere 4 years in production, since which time I have seen some absolutely outrageous shenanigans on the used market. Rare, sought after, out of production. Now, this does not translate into an asking price of over 1,000 clams, my friend. To anybody even momentarily entertaining the notion of picking up one of these secondhand, let me show you exactly what you're getting. See that? You see that? I want to make sure you see that. Das ist schräg, total schief. And how you manage to drill a screw hole all slanty on a vertical drill press is beyond me. But these crafted in Indonesia people managed to accomplish just that. And look at this. That binding around the neck heel is sloppy. Mine even came with what we in the German language call a Wackelkontakt. Yes, faulty wiring. It would just cut in and out whenever you bumped the jack. Mine ended up fixing itself somehow. And sometimes you just gotta jiggle it enough times. The Antigua finish on the pickguard is painted on and rubs off in a jiffy. The pots and knobs are kind of crappy, and you can be sure they were shopping at the bargain basement for all the hardware. The bridge is a Dan Electro type, up on stilts. A lot of people don't like that. They say it's hard to intonate. And some even say it's bad for Schwingungsübertragung, that it doesn't transmit the vibrations to the body right. But that sounds like a lot of cork-sniffing hocus-pocus to me. I think it's great that it has just normal simple stop bridge, so you can get right down to business without the painstaking pain in the ass of setting up the infernally vexing vibrato that comes on a real Jazzmaster. Having said all that, the Squier does have it where it counts. Neck width and profile are pretty much perfect, very comfortable, and everything you'd expect from a real Fender, including that skunk stripe down the back that's been completely useless ever since they started loading the truss rods from the front. The stock pickups are surprisingly good too, if you're looking for surf and jingle jangle and independent alternative rock. A lot of you baritone guys out there are into djent and extreme metal, and for that, the Bun and Gary Hibner have some good videos on how to set this up for that. The 30-inch scale length is a handful if you do a lot of stretchy chords, but it lets you use real light strings for standard B or A tuning, and you can tune it way low if you string it heavier. The Bun even tuned it down to low E like on a bass guitar. Now, all of this roughness in the fit and finish is nothing to a knuckle dragger like me. In fact, I am really happy with this axe and would have considered it to be the best entry-level baritone for the money, as long as your cosmetic standards aren't too high. But that was back then, when they could be had for under 4 big faces. Because the $1,000 guitar this ain't, my friends. I could see maybe forking over 500 if you're absolutely hell-bent on having one. Which brings us to the last 2 topics. Limited production and scalping. To all of you who actually know about the business, why not chip in your 2 cents in the comment section below? First off, what is Fender thinking only keeping these in production for 4 years? Did they just underestimate the demand, figuring there'd only be a limited market for such an exotic item? Did they deliberately create a big buzz and make everybody want one so they can re-release it later at a way higher price? Or is the Squier modified JM baritone gone for good? And what's up with the price gouging? Are these $1,000 offers on eBay just a shot in the dark, fishing for a fool who would shell out that kind of cheddar for what's essentially a beginner's item? Or are there targeted scalping operations going on? People buying up the cheap stuff en masse, trying to corner the market so they can catch y'all would-be buyers by the short hairs. I'd like to think there are less lame ways to double your money if you got a few thousand extra to invest. But what do I know? I'm just a mouth breather making crappy videos on his phone. And I hear this price gouging is happening again with the new paranormal series the Squier's putting out, and that Cabrolita Telecaster baritone model in particular. But at 27 inches, it's just a baby baritone, so I'll just leave it to all of you bendy guys. In conclusion, there were a lot of cheap guitars from the 80s that are made way better than almost anything affordable today. PV, Ibanez, Aria, all made top-notch stuff for cheap because it was considered entry-level back then. And I can see paying 3 or 4 times the list price for that kind of affordable stuff that was made back in the good old days when production standards were actually high. But this Squier, cool as it may be, ain't nothing like that.